At first glance, the inquiry of who resided in ancient Greece appears to warrant the response, ancient Greeks. Nevertheless, the ancient Greeks were not a cohesive nation. They divided into different groups, each with their own dialect and identity. The ancient Greeks, those brilliant architects of democracy and philosophy, often traced their origins back to a mythical past. Whispers of creation spoke of Gaia, the Earth Mother, and Uranus, the celestial sky god, birthing their progenitors. Modern scholars, however, strip away the poetic veil. Genetics whispers a different story, one that places the Greeks firmly within the vast Indo-European tapestry. Their ancestors, these steppes nomads, hailed from the vast Pontic-Caspian region, encompassing parts of modern-day Ukraine and Russia. But migration wasn't a single decisive event. Imagine it rather as a series of waves, each leaving its mark on the cultural and linguistic landscape. Unlike their Hittite, Scythian, or Thracian cousins, the Proto-Greeks lingered in the northern reaches of the Balkan Peninsula, a crucible where these diverse groups forged a shared identity distinct from their Indo-European brethren. The precise details of these ancient migrations remain tantalizingly obscure, forever entangled with myth, leaving us with fragments of knowledge and ample room for scholarly debate. Fast forward to the classical era, roughly the 5th century BC. The Greeks now referred to themselves as Hellenes, a term with roots in Thessaly, a region in northern Greece. Homer's epics already echo with this term, but it was during this period of flourishing civilization that it truly blossomed, encompassing all those who considered themselves Greek. The etymology of Hellenes remains a fierce battleground for linguists, yet for the Greeks themselves, the answer was self-evident, a shared lineage traced back to a mythical king named Helen. This self-identification went hand in hand with a distinct language and set of customs. Anyone who fell outside this circle was deemed a barbarian. This term, though carrying a whiff of negativity, didn't necessarily imply savagery. The Greeks readily acknowledged the rich cultures of the Pelasgians, Egyptians, and Phoenicians, yet they remained barbarians nonetheless. Some historians have attempted to draw parallels with the rise of European nationalism in the early 20th century, but here we must tread carefully. Ancient Greece was a society far more complex and archaic. The bedrock of this society was the oikos, the household. This fundamental unit encompassed not just immediate family, but extended relatives and slaves. Here, the male head of household reigned supreme, wielding considerable authority and responsibility. Beyond the oikos, Greeks banded together in larger kinship groups called phratries and tribes. Phratries, or brotherhoods, traced their lineage back to a common ancestor. These bonds were crucial, forming the backbone of early military units and influencing inheritance, legal disputes, and religious rituals. Tribes, in turn, were constellations of phratries sharing a geographic region or common origin. Membership in a tribe fostered a sense of collective identity and provided a framework for political representation and military organization. The true heart of the Greek world beat within the polis, the city-state. Here, the social structure became even more intricate. Citizens, known as politai, formed the backbone of the polis. These freeborn men, often of noble descent, enjoyed political rights and actively participated in shaping the city-state's destiny. But the polis wasn't a homogeneous entity. Alongside the politai existed medics, resident foreigners, women, and slaves. While their rights and societal roles differed considerably, they all played a vital part in the complex social tapestry of the polis. Though the polis ostensibly erased some tribal boundaries, the Greeks still held onto a broader tribal identity. These were dialect communities, perhaps echoes of those ancient migrations, further enriching the diverse tapestry that was ancient Greece. The Achaeans, a name that resonates through the ages, were amongst the most ancient tribes to weave themselves into the Greek history. These warriors hold a prominent place in Homer's Iliad, where they are not just a tribe, but a stand-in for the entirety of the Greeks. Homer even bestows upon them the additional epithet of Danaans, a nod to their legendary lineage. Tradition held that the Achaeans were descendants of Danaus, a king of Egypt who, fleeing familial strife, found refuge in the Peloponnese. It was here that they laid the foundations of the mighty Mycenaean civilization, a name bestowed upon it much later by the 19th century archaeologist Heinrich Schliemann. Thus, the Achaeans can also be referred to as Mycenaeans, a testament to their enduring legacy. The Achaeans were not merely a people of war. They were also skilled mariners and merchants, their commercial endeavors leaving their mark across the Mediterranean. From the sun-drenched shores of Cyprus to the western flanks of Asia Minor, from the fertile plains of Sicily to the windswept Aeolian islands, Achaean settlements sprouted. The decline of the Minoan civilization in Crete around the mid-2nd millennium BC presented a further opportunity. Achaean migrants crossed the wide strait, infusing the island with their culture and dynamism. However, the restless tides of history were not kind to the Achaeans. As the 2nd millennium drew to a close, they faced a new threat: invasions from the north. These newcomers, fueled by a martial spirit of their own, chipped away at the once mighty Mycenaean civilization, eventually bringing it to its knees. By the time classical Greece flourished, the distinct Achaean dialects lingered only in the mountainous realm of Arcadia, a refuge for these proud people, and among the Greek communities clinging to the shores of distant Cyprus. The Achaeans, though diminished, remained a vital thread woven into the rich tapestry of the Greek world. The Dorians, alongside the Achaeans, are titans of Greek legend. Tradition paints them as hailing from Doris, a rugged patch of land near Mount Oeta in northern Greece. Descended, it was claimed, from Doris, son of the mythical Helen, these Dorians were destined for greatness. Led southward by the Heraclides, descendants of the legendary hero Heracles himself, they carved out a new home in the Peloponnese, Crete, and the Aegean Islands. Dorian colonies even stretched further, reaching Sicily, the Bosphorus, and Asia Minor. This grand migration narrative, however, has given rise to a potent historical myth: the Dorian invasion. 19th century scholars envisioned these Dorians as conquering hordes, toppling the Achaean city-states in a violent clash. Textbooks echoed with the clang of fictional Dorian conquests. But modern archaeology, wielding its sharpest tools, paints a different picture. The Mycenaean downfall, it seems, was orchestrated by a far more powerful foe: the enigmatic Sea Peoples who terrorized the Egyptians. The Dorians, if they did indeed emerge from Doris, likely arrived after the Mycenaean flame had flickered out. Sparta, of course, stands as the quintessential Dorian state. Lycurgus's reforms in 884 BC transformed this polis from a run-of-the-mill city-state into a Spartan war machine. Their austere society and rigorous training ultimately led them to victory over the wealthy and populous Athens. This martial image has led some to paint all Dorians with the same militaristic brush. Yet Sparta was renowned not just for its strict military politics, but also for another important historical milestone. Despite being often overlooked by historians, it was in the 3rd century BC that Sparta distinguished itself as the first known state to eliminate the practice of slavery. A glance beyond Sparta reveals a more nuanced reality. Corinth, nestled north of Sparta, was famous not for its warriors, but for its enterprising merchants. It grew richer and more populous than Athens itself. The Dorians, far from being a one-note society, also boasted literary and scientific giants. Herodotus, hailed as the father of history, hailed from the Dorian city of Halicarnassus. Archimedes, the ingenious inventor, emerged from the Sicilian Dorian colony of Syracuse. These Dorians, then, were not merely warriors, but a people who left their indelible mark on the intellectual and commercial landscapes of the ancient world. Theirs is a story that demands to be retold, not through the lens of simplistic conquest, but with an appreciation for the rich tapestry they wove into the fabric of Greece. The Ionians, vibrant and populous, strode across the stage of classical Greece. Tradition traced their lineage back to Ion, grandson of the mythical Helen. Early whispers of their existence can be gleaned from Mycenaean tablets marked XD, hinting at a shared history with the Achaeans in the Peloponnese. This coexistence, however, wouldn't endure. As the second millennium drew to a close, the Dorians surged south, driving the Ionians from their ancestral lands. Strabo, the meticulous geographer, recounted a curious relic of this upheaval, a pillar on the Isthmus of Corinth bearing an inscription on each side. One face proclaimed, "This land is no longer the Peloponnese, but Ionia," a poignant reminder of their loss. The other side offered a bitter rejoinder. "This land is no longer Ionia, but the Peloponnese," a testament to the Dorians' dominance. Only a lone ember of Ionian presence flickered in the Peloponnese, the Silurians near Argos. But by the mid-first millennium BC, even their flame had dimmed. The Dorian dialect had seeped into their speech, blurring the lines between them and their new neighbors. Undeterred, the Ionians migrated north, settling in Attica and embarking on a wave of colonization that scattered vibrant communities across the Aegean islands. On the western shores of Asia Minor, they laid the foundations of a glorious league of 7 cities, with Miletus its undisputed jewel. Ionia, as this region came to be known, blossomed into a crucible of classical Greek art. Miletus, in particular, emerged as the birthplace of the first school of natural philosophy. Here, the likes of Thales, Anaximander, and Anaximenes pondered the universe's mysteries, their ideas rippling outwards and enriching the intellectual milieu. The Ionians weren't content to simply establish roots. They were inveterate colonizers. Pliny the Elder, the Roman chronicler, marveled at the Milesians' zeal, crediting them with founding a staggering 90 colonies. Yet their fortunes were not always kind. In 546 BC, the Persian juggernaut swept down, seizing Phocaea, the northernmost Ionian city. Its citizens, with characteristic resilience, boarded their ships and set sail for the western Mediterranean, eventually establishing Marseille amidst other flourishing settlements. But among the Ionian city-states, Athens stands as the Colossus. This very cradle of democracy, a vibrant hub of political and cultural innovation, cast a long shadow. The Ionian dialect spoken in Athens provided the foundation for Koine, the common Greek language that resonated throughout the classical and Hellenistic periods. Even Byzantine writers, centuries later, sought to weave threads of this ancient Athenian dialect into their works, a testament to its enduring influence. The Ionians, then, were a people who not only adapted to adversity, but thrived. They were the architects of exquisite art, the midwives of groundbreaking philosophy, and the tireless sowers of Greek culture across the ancient world. Often relegated to the shadows by their flashier kin, the Aeolians were a tribe woven into the very fabric of ancient Greece. Tradition traced their lineage back to Aeolus, son of Helen, placing them firmly within the Greek fold. Their story begins in the fertile plains of Thessaly in the north, before they branched outwards, establishing a presence in Boeotia, central Greece. But perhaps their most significant imprint lay across the Aegean Sea, on the western coast of Asia Minor. Here, north of Ionia, a region known as Aeolia flourished, encompassing the storied island of Lesbos. The Aeolians, despite their contributions, were sometimes treated as cultural step-cousins by the other Greeks. Plato, The philosophical titan even deemed their dialect barbaric. Yet this perceived rusticity masked a vital truth. The Aeolians were the keepers of lore, the storytellers who passed down the rich tapestry of Greek myths. From these unassuming tribespeople emerged towering figures like Hesiod and Alcaeus, poets whose verses echoed through the ages. Hellanicus, a meticulous historian, added his voice to the chorus, while Sappho, the first recorded woman poet in all of history, wove her lyrical magic into the fabric of Greek culture. Thebes, the formidable city-state nestled in Boeotia, stands as a testament to Aeolic prowess. Here, the valiant Thebans, in a stunning upset, vanquished the mighty Spartans in 378 BC, briefly holding the mantle of power in a fractured Greece. The Aeolians, then, were a people who defied easy categorization. They were farmers and storytellers, warriors and artists. Though sometimes overlooked, their influence resonated throughout the ancient world. Theirs is a story that reminds us that greatness can bloom in the most unexpected places, and that the quiet hum of a culture can be just as powerful as the martial roar. One might be tempted to conclude our exploration here, but it would be remiss not to delve into the enigmatic realm of two northern tribes who, despite their Greek language and worship of Greek gods, found themselves estranged from the very Greeks who birthed these cultural hallmarks. Situated in the northern reaches, beyond the customary boundaries of ancient Greece, Macedonia stood as a testament to the complexities of identity and the capricious nature of human perception. Despite their geographic proximity, the ancient Greeks, with their peculiar sense of superiority, dismissed the Macedonians as something other than true Greeks. The Athenian speaker, Demosthenes, did not mince words, labeling the Macedonians as barbarians, forever etching their classification in the annals of history. Yet, the Macedonians themselves clung to a different narrative, one that intertwined their fate with the Dorians and traced their origins to the sacred soil of Argos in the Peloponnesian region. It is within the accounts of the venerable Herodotus that we discover the tale of Alexander, the illustrious king of Macedonia, who, in his quest to participate in the Olympic Games, presented evidence to his skeptical Greek counterparts, a testament to his Greek lineage. While some modern historians posit a kinship between the Macedonians and the Thracians, the people residing in the untamed northern realms of the Balkan Peninsula, their assertions are met with opposition from the ancient Athenian historian Thucydides. As a man of Thracian heritage himself, who sought solace in the embrace of Thrace following his exile from Athens, Thucydides distinguished the Macedonians from their Thracian neighbors while reaffirming their affiliation with the broader Greek world. The complex tapestry that unfolds before us concerning the origins of the Macedonians is intertwined with the fact that, from the mid-first millennium BCE, they embraced the Greek language in their written works and paid homage to the pantheon of Greek deities. It begs the question, was this a process of cultural assimilation? Alas, the answer eludes us. Had the Macedonians embraced the gift of the Greek language, they would have surely etched their inscriptions in the borrowed dialect of their Hellenic brethren. Yet within the sanctified confines of their burial sites, they inscribed their own distinct Greek dialect, eschewing any traces of original Macedonian vocabulary. A clear indication that Greek was indeed their indigenous tongue. And yet, inexplicably, the other Greeks persisted in perceiving them as mere barbarians. Now let us turn our attention to another Greek-speaking tribe, the Athamanes, who dwelled in the petite territory of Athamania, nestled in the northwest of ancient Greece. Their ancestral lineage traced back to the renowned figure of Athamos, reputedly a scion of Aeolus, which granted the Athamanes the privilege of claiming their Greek identity. Nevertheless, despite their linguistic ties and prestigious lineage, the Hellenistic authors did not hesitate to cast aspersions upon the Athamanes, branding them barbarians or, at best, descendants of barbaric stock. As the wheels of history turned, the mighty Roman conquest descended upon Athamania in 168 BCE, shattering the delicate balance of their existence. Forced to depart from their ancestral lands, the Athamanes were thrust into the embrace of their Greek compatriots, where they sought solace and assimilation, weaving their destinies into the broader tapestry of Greek civilization. And so, dear seeker of historical knowledge, we wrap up our journey through the captivating narratives of the ancient Greeks. Their tales serve as a reminder that the complexities of individual identity, varying perspectives, and cultural integration are not only captivating, but also puzzling. If you are eager for more enlightenment or direction in the realm of history, stay tuned for our next video, where we will discuss the non-Greek residents of ancient Greece. If you enjoy our short informative video, put your like and subscribe. Do not miss our upcoming videos. We may be a bit awkward, but we always manage to have a good time and find joy in the little things.